Okay. Yeah, man. Who are we well, the thing is, I'm just trying to think.
I tried so hard to keep it together, but you sounded like an owl. Who? Meaningful, kind-hearted family values can only be celebrated if you are sober.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. We are. Oh yeah, man.
You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, Mark.
No.
I know.
You know, I just become. You know when people say it is what it is. That's like the classic. I haven't listened to anything you're saying, and let's just move on saying.
You are the most endearing non-listener, it's for sure.
Well, it's like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
It's like I'm listening. I think a lot more people talk to themselves than I think. And so I don't know half the time if people are talking to me or to themselves or like working things out.
Sometimes people, I think, just need a platform to talk to themselves too. It helps them work it out. And then if you're a good enough friend, you stick around.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so many people just talk. Like, even Amanda, like, she'll talk and I won't even answer. And she's like, oh, so you're just not going to answer? And I'm like, what did you want me to say? You want me to answer? Like, what do you, like, you're not really asking me anything. You're just speaking, you know?
These are it's conversational pros.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what's been going on? We got what is this, episode 5?
No, 6.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
We're doing it actually.
Man, we're halfway there.
Isn't it crazy?
It's happening. It
is happening. It's for sure happening. It's all happening.
Yeah, I forgot my hat, but we're gonna
put your hat on. Put your hat on.
We got the room mic here. So
I like your hat today.
I gotta,
Mark has a nice hat. Such a
30% bedhead.
It's a cute hat you got. Oh my God!
There it is.
There he is. He's back.
You know, something I've done wrong almost my whole life is putting my hat on.
Okay.
This is a thing.
Needs a little context.
Well, have you ever had hair longer than that? Like, I guess
you
when you
serious?
were a kid?
Was that that was on purpose? Yes, dude.
No, but like...
Yes, sadly, I've had hair longer than this.
No, but it's not
Fuck, dude.
No, it's not... It specifically has to do with the hat.
I know, yeah,
So,
I get you.
Well, first of all, one of the things was, in the last couple of months, I started thinking about possibly sleeping with a durag. and
Can't.
I'm telling you the truth.
You can't. If you're gonna, you can't tell anyone, not even me, dude.
I know.
That's crazy.
That's the thing. Well, I was only thinking about it because my hair is a disaster. I know we were talking about hair last week, but this hat thing, I've been putting on my hat wrong because what I used to do, for whatever reason, I would put my
it back on.
I would put my hair back and then put my hat on. And then so my hair's being pushed back.
Yeah, so when you take your hat off.
So now when I take my hat off, I'm sure
crazy.
it's a disaster. So when I started kind of pushing it forward and then putting my hat on forward and it holds my hair down.
Yeah.
I take my hat off.
And we're there.
It's more flat.
Yeah, I get that.
It's more like manageable. And then I was like, how can I do this at nighttime? And I was like, do-rag. Because if I sleep with a do-rag... I'm telling you the truth. I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, Mark, you can't... He's like, look, he said almost what you said. Just don't tell anybody that you're sleeping with a do-rag. But
look, you could do it, you know. First of all, neutral colors. Yeah.
I'm thinking baby blue.
No, please, dude. Please. You have to go with the classic, that Lil Wayne purple. It's like...
Oh, the purple?
The metallic purple. It's like...
Yeah.
You can't do it.
No, I know. I don't even know if I could buy one. I'd have to go somewhere out of town. But it does hold you know, like obviously the idea of it is to keep your hair down. So when
I can't look at you.
this wasn't even anything that we wanted to talk about.
That's hilarious, dude. I didn't think you were gonna even say that.
To be honest, I didn't either. Thank God we have control over the edit. But
I'm thinking about wearing a do-rag when I sleep. Dude, Mark has never once said that to me ever. This is not a pre-planned conversation.
No, this is a new thought.
Because fucking wild. Yo.
Since I started wearing my hat the way I told you how I put it on forward and not backwards, people have been asking me about, they're like, what did you do different to your hair? Honestly, I've had and I didn't want to like, I know I've gone to your barber.
I was just gonna say it wasn't anything to do with good looks.
They definitely helped for sure. But as we talked about last week, once you leave the barber, it's a free for all.
It's up to you then at that point.
And putting my hat on forward instead of backwards has really kept it under control. Where now I can, like, I'm the amount of people. That's what got me thinking. I'm like, what am I doing different with my hair? And it's putting it down, and then when I sleep and I wake up, my hair is a disaster.
You waking up next to Amanda, no shirt, do-rag.
I don't know.
Come on, bro. That sounds some Malibu's Most Wanted type shit.
I know. There's no other option though, like because I've slept with a hood on.
Be red easy.
I'm easing my way into it. Like
You slept with a hood on? What the fuck is that, dude?
I wanted to see if it would keep my I wanted to see if this theory was right. So I'm like easing into the do-rag.
No, dude.
So I have I sleep with a hoodie and I put it on and I'm like,
what the fuck?
I'm like, let me see if this holds my hair down.
Fucking rabbit from 8 Mile over here. Dude, you're killing me, dude. Sleeping with a hoodie is hilarious.
Yeah, no, you don't want to break into my house when I'm experimenting.
It's like you already broke in.
I was gonna be like, who's sleeping in this bed with a full-on hoodie?
Oh, dude, I'm crying. That is so funny, dude. Thinking about you in a do-rag is so good. Oh.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I don't know much about it, but I do think it would do the job. But this is not at all. We were supposed to get started with how our weeks are going.
Yeah, my week is better now.
Good.
My week's a lot better. We've been killing this, man. We've been moving along here. We're doing exactly what we said we were going to do, which is quite opposite how the last like 10 years of my life has gone.
Speaking of sandwiches, who's our guest this week?
Oh, Mark, you're hilarious. This week we're doing Risa. I'm really excited for this one. The Italian-Jewish connection is strong here in this realm. We go way back. My father started taking my brother and I to Risa's when we were kids, but my family has known Risa's family from Buffalo Restaurant Love for years. Risa's dad, so endearingly known as Stumpy, he took over ownership of Ralph's famous restaurant, which is on Hurdle Avenue for a long time. And then they changed the name to Stumpy's. And then a little bit later on, after his passing, Risa took over and the name changed to Risa's. This is someone who I hold near and dear to my heart. I know my family feels the same way. You can catch Risa every weekday down at her spot downtown here on Delaware. The pastrami is unbelievable. The corned beef is unbelievable. And that chicken soup will bring you back from the dead, without a doubt.
Let's get into it.
Seriously, it's just a conversation. I know like it looks like it's going to be bigger than it is, but it's not. I've literally been coming to your place. You like that? Coming to your place and eating food for such a long time that this is just a conversation between friends.
All right.
People who love each other.
That's right.
So this is the Mom Sauce podcast. My name is Dominic Missana. I couldn't be more excited today. I'm here with someone who has been in my life for a very long time. Food, as you guys know, is an important part of my culture, an important part of my upbringing. My parents were in the restaurant and service industry since before I could remember, and a common household name for the Missanas was Risa. From a child, I've heard stories of Stumpy's and, Ralph's Stumpy's, and obviously Risa's. We go way back. I've been super excited to do this. How are you?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
I'm so happy you agreed to take this on. I know these types of situations can just be a little bit weird. I mean, there's lights in our face,
right?
You know, we're sitting with microphones. But I want to remind you again, we are just two people who love each other having a conversation. I've been eating from the hands of Risa since before I could remember. I'm such a huge fan, and I couldn't be more excited to kind of put Risa's Deli on a platform in any way, shape, or form possible. Right now, we are with the one and only Risa. We're sitting here in Buffalo, New York, at the home location. One thing I wanted to talk about today, well, the first thing is, how did this get started? Can we talk a little bit about Stumpy?
Sure.
Okay. I want to know. I know a little bit from my family, but I want the people to know from the source.
Okay. Well, first of all, I do have to thank you too. I'm honored that you thought to interview me. I think it's great, and I love your family as well.
Oh, sweet.
And the on our wall here, you see the history a little bit. The thing that's funny to me is my grandparents had a restaurant on Washington Street, and my grandfather got sick. My father said, I'd like to take it over. They told him, you're not responsible enough. So with that, he got in the car and drove us to California, and we lived in California.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
That was a quick turnaround, a year and a half, whatever. So we came back here, and my dad used to go to Ralph's restaurant every morning. And, he was one of the regulars at the counter. And Ralph got sick. Ralph passed away. And his wife, Bertha, said to my dad, she said, Stumpy, he always talked about you taking over. Would you be interested at all? So that's really how it started.
Wow.
And that was like in the 60s.
This is in Buffalo.
In
the
Buffalo.
60s. Hurdle Avenue.
On Hurdle and
correct?
Commonwealth. That's
Okay.
where the Ralph's was.
Yeah.
So he took it over, and he kept the same waitresses, the whole thing. It's just like he kind of stepped into it. And we have pictures up there. He's in his whites, and I remember him getting there. 3:30, 5 o'clock he would open. He had every bartender in Buffalo at the counter, going up and down the counter, handing out the food, pouring the coffee. So that was became his second nature.
Oh my God, I love here. As you're talking, I can see it. I can picture the imagery in my head. It's like the most beautiful
There's
part.
the picture up there behind the...
We're gonna get some B-roll
Yeah,
when this is
that's a
done.
great picture of him.
We'll go throughout the restaurant a little bit.
So that's it. We kept going up and down Hurdle. I tell everyone, every time the landlord raised the rent, my mother went up the street and looked for another spot. So we were 3 spots on Hurdle.
Okay. That
And-
is so awesome.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about you too. From just living in Buffalo, being born and raised in Buffalo, and also doing my due diligence. Is this true? You and your sister wanted to become lawyers, or studied? Were you trying to
My
be a lawyer?
dad wanted us to become lawyers.
Can we hear a little bit? I want to know a little bit about that.
Well, we went to school, of course. We both went to UB, and he said, you should become lawyers. And after we took the, not the bar, but before to get into law school, we said, we're not going to law school. And I told my dad, I said, people like restaurant people.
They do.
I think better than lawyers. So I think I'm going to, follow in the restaurant
On my friends
business.
list, I would say the first 7, actually none of them are lawyers. That's enough from that point. None
Everyone
of them are lawyers.
needs a lawyer.
You got to have one.
Right.
If you have one in the family, then you're lucky,
Right.
A lawyer you can trust is
Yeah,
a
but you know,
beautiful thing.
people love you when you're in the restaurant business.
It's true, especially when you got really good food. Okay, so that's where I want to go now too. Okay, so Ralph's on Hurdle turns into Stumpy's.
Right.
What are we going to eat? What am I ordering if I'm going to Stumpy's? What's the first thing I'm ordering? What would you tell someone they need to order if they're going to eat
Okay,
there?
now are we talking breakfast or lunch?
Okay, let's do both. Let's start with breakfast. Let's start
Okay.
with breakfast.
Now, breakfast, where you can't get anywhere else, I don't think, is kosher salami and eggs with a bagel or delicious rye toast. You know, that's
Oh
good.
my God, of course.
My dad used to make potato pancakes. I don't make those anymore.
Okay.
But at Passover time, we make fried matzah, which is called matzah brie. And for Hanukkah, I will make potato pancakes.
Okay, all right.
So that's breakfast, or a bagel, cream cheese, and lox. That's
Okay.
always good.
Classic.
Yeah, poached eggs, you know, the typical, that stuff. But definitely for lunch, matzo ball soup, corned beef, knishes, all of our salads, the potato salad, coleslaw, macaroni salad. You know, I
Yep.
learned how to make that from my dad's waitresses, who, it's so funny because every one of them someone would make it, the next one would come in and taste it. She says, Stumpy, I fixed it. The next one, taste it and do something else to it. But, you know, they gave me pretty much my sister and I both have the recipes for that. So,
That is
you know, those
amazing.
are all made by hand. Sweet and sour cabbage soup.
Yep.
That's something you can't find. And when people look at it on the menu, they say, oh, what is that like? I said, it's kind of like stuffed cabbage, but in a soup form,
Yeah.
you know, with tomato based.
Yep.
So they try it and they really do. They
course.
enjoy it. So those are the things people, and pastrami, you know.
Okay, so all the classes, I've been eating Reese's pastrami, actually specifically that Nathan Lane sandwich on the board, probably since I was 11 years old. I'm not even joking. On rye, and then a bowl of chicken matzo ball soup.
Yeah.
It's like my order. My dad introduced us to Risa's when we were growing up. This is another thing too. I know for you, this may be a silly question, but for the common man or for people that want to know a little bit about it, corned beef is delicious. But what is it? How is it made? What's the process? Like, why is it different than just a different piece of rare beef that I'm eating?
Well, it's a brisket.
Okay.
So it's brisket of beef.
Yep.
But it's corned, which means that they brine it. So they brine it 30-something days or something like that. I do not do the brining, but I do the cooking.
Okay.
And so that's boiled.
Ah.
So it's the seasonings you put in the water to boil it, and then the brining. And that's why it's pink like that, because of they used to use saltpeter in there. I am not
Okay.
sure exactly what they used to keep it pink.
So that was my main question, because
Yeah.
normally you'd think you're eating like a rare piece of
No.
beef. No, you're eating a very cooked piece
Right.
of beef. It's just how the process is done, which makes it look like that.
And if it wasn't corned like that, it would come out brown.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It would be like, I would assume gray, boiled
Right,
beef, or
right.
like brown gray, right?
Right, yeah.
It doesn't seem like it would be appetizing, but man, so the corning it is the brining
Yeah,
process,
yeah,
really.
right.
And then the cooking of it is the seasoning in the water.
Correct.
Okay. I'm glad you cleared that up, because
Yeah.
for years I'm like, okay, you're thinking that you're cutting into like this rare piece.
Right.
Like it's like as if you're eating like some roast beef or like a roast beef
Right,
sandwich or something.
right.
But it's really the corning process that makes it like that, and the taste, it's like kind of incomparable. You know the second you taste corned beef that it's corned beef. It's fatty, it has that richness to it. It's kind of like it reminds me of like a rich man's bologna, or just something that really makes me I just feel like it's decadent.
And
Like
it's a thin slice too, you know
Yes.
that, so you're not pulling it.
yeah, I mean it's easy to
chewy.
chew on.
Right.
The bite of that sandwich is favorable for me. I remember even since I was a kid, it was like that classic. It's soft, but still get that bite to it that
Right.
you want. You know, it's savory, but salty and savory, but still the rye seeds kind of cut it. You're laughing at me. This is my life. I can describe taste of food all day long. As I'm staring off into the abyss, I see chicken noodle matzo ball and the sweet and sour cabbage. That's on the menu today. I'm gonna have to take. I got what did we serve?
Matzo
A quart?
ball.
Was the quart
Yeah,
you gave
yeah.
me? I got a quart I have to bring home. Anytime I'm within a mile radius of Reese's, if I don't bring home something to my dad or we don't stop in here, I'm going to be in trouble. So
this has just been kind of a staple as far as family dining out for me and my family goes. It was always an option to come and stop at Risa's when going
Nice.
out to eat is with my family is throwing on the table. It's always in the mix of like, well, why don't we just go to Risa's? Because we know
Nice.
what we're going to get. We know what it is. I love the history of Hurdle. I grew up on Hurdle, running up and down that avenue has been kind of a staple, is a lot of introducing food culture into my life, or like learning about what I want to eat. When did the move happen? When did you go from Hurdle to downtown?
Well, first we went from Hurdle and to Delaware and Kenmore.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I don't know if I was around for that. I think I was in New York City.
That was a little, you know, kind of weird over there.
Yeah, more uptown vibes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was, and I didn't stay that long because I moved to Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, my parents were elderly, and my sister said, I don't want to do it myself anymore, so they kind of shut it down then.
Okay. What merged us down here? How did we get into downtown Delaware? Because honestly, it's so much closer to where I'm at now. It's super quick.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of my friends. I have a couple buddies who work in the Seneca One Towers, and a little closer, they stop here for lunch sometimes too, even if they don't work in this specific building.
Right.
It's known downtown as kind of like a staple spot to go for lunch.
Nice. Well, when I moved back to Las Vegas, from Las Vegas, my husband and I said, well, we should do it, and let's look for a place back on Hurdle. And there was a Domino's that was for sale. They were closing, moving, or something like that. So we took that spot, which was right next to Romeo and Juliet's.
Okay.
So I was there for 5 years. After the 5 years, my father and I had always thought about downtown. And I said, well, let's look for downtown. And someone gave me the name of this building and who to contact. So this was nothing. This was a blank spot. We had to do the build out in here. And it was 15 years now. So, so we said, that's it. And it was, and I really enjoy it. They said it would be great because the building is occupied. And of course, you know, with COVID, we had our issues, but thank God for my outside customers.
Through the pandemic you've survived, through all the changes in locations you survived, I want to know why you think that is. What about you, the food here? What about Buffalo? Why is this spot one of those places?
Well, I think it's consistency. I think, you know, my dad said there's always got to be a family member in the restaurant. And, you know, when you see people, you know their names, which I do, you know what they eat. And that's how we've been the whole time I've been in the business with my parents. I like the people too, usually. There's a few, you know, but, and that's it. So you make the corned beef the same way, you know, the matzo balls. And you just have to, people got to go this, when they go, it tastes the same as it did last time. And I say, ooh, someone else must have made it. You know, you go to restaurants, says it must be a different chef back there or something because it doesn't taste the same. Yeah. So I think that's a big part of it. And I think, you know, and being a part of the community and having a you know, a love for the people, and I think that's all.
I read this article about Stumpy's on how the waitresses would come in sometimes and order something with the seeds, seedless or not seedless.
Oh, yeah.
This has a lot to do with attributing just this community aspect that we're talking about. I know your dad, you guys, you knew orders.
Right.
When you saw someone's face, you knew what they ordered, you knew what they liked. I mean, that's a huge part of this business in general. I mean, a lot of people have a hard time realizing why I think businesses, or specifically restaurants, go under. Consistency is it. If you are consistently giving the community not only a good product, but warmth and some type of thing they could latch onto, this is a part of someone's day that changes their day.
That's why they call it comfort food, right?
Right.
Because, you know, and hopefully, you know, they come in and feel comfortable. But
the
waitress, the waitresses, the story was that when we were on Hurdle, you know, and there was the window, the big window, and you'd see someone park across the street, the waitresses would have their food ready. Oh, I wasn't going to eat that today. And they'd say, change your mind tomorrow. You're eating that today.
That is incredible. I love that. That's amazing. It just goes to show you, man. I think cities like Buffalo thrive off of this kind of love and history. It's few and far between that I get an opportunity to kind of tell the world the things that shaped me and shaped my growth as an individual. And one thing that I'm super happy about is Risa's Deli. Since I was a kid, I've known this place as a place of comfort, as a place of reprieve from a busy day. My whole family feels the same way, and I couldn't be happier to kind of put this place on any type of platform.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being consistent, being the person you are, and for giving Buffalo this beautiful product.
Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate it.
I love you so much, Risa. Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Be painless, right?
Yeah.
I'm more nervous than you. Jesus.
How many of you have had a teacher who made you prouder to be alive, happier to be alive than you had previously believed possible? Would you show up your hand?
Remember when you messaged me and you were like, "What are you getting into? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm going deep on something right now."
Yeah.
You know,
you were dorking out.
I couldn't even explain it to you. So essentially, I've been learning about sensors on cameras to different lenses and how they kind of work with each other and whatever. And obviously, like with all this production stuff, I've been learning and buying some equipment. And actually, through doing my taxes this year, I found out that I didn't get a refund for something that I bought last year. And I sent in for it, and I didn't get the refund. And I called B&H, which was the place I bought it.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, New York. And I was like, hey, like, this is really weird. I bought this thing last year, and I only found this because of my taxes and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I sent you the package, but I never got the refund for it. So the guy's like looking into the stuff, and he's like, yeah, like, I can hear that this is weird. He's like, where did you get this from? I don't understand. And I ended up getting something from Cinegears, okay? So, and I'm only saying that because I kind of want them to see this, which they probably never will, but it's pissing me off because they apparently sent me a tracking number to return. B&H didn't. And the guy at B&H was like, where did you get the tracking number from? And I had an email. But
see, that sucks because then the dude at B&H can be like, I don't believe you.
and that's exactly what it was. He's like, if you don't have a tracking number, and so I call FedEx, and I'm just like, can you guys do anything about this? And they're like, no, because we don't store records for that long. I'm like, you have no record of a package from October. Like, how does that make sense, you know? And so I'm on the phone with the guy at B&H, and he's like trying to help me. He's being cool, but it sucks because this thing was like kind of expensive, and I've now lost the money and the part. So he's like, let me put you on hold. I got to talk to my manager and see what's going on here. He's like, this is very confusing. I'm on hold. He comes back and he's like, yeah, you know, like without the thing, there's nothing I can do. And he's like, you know, I got to be honest with you about something. And I'm like, what? He's like, while you were on hold, I watched your stand-up. And I was like, what? And I was like, so mad. And he's like,
wait, are you fucking kidding me,
I'm
dude?
not joking, man.
That is hilarious. That was
like,
such a crazy setup, dude.
I know.
Oh my God.
He's like, because my email is DeBonis comedy, so I'm assuming he saw that and was like, this guy must be a comedian or something.
Dude.
So he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Big fan. And I was like, what? Like, because I'm like mad about this refund. And he's like, the delivery's on point. You know, the topic matter is good. He's like, I'm not going to lie to you. If this came across my feed, you would have a new follower, subscriber.
Shut
I'm not joking. He was like, and then he starts talking to me about my stand-up, and he's like, I'm really sorry about this whole situation, but I hope whatever you're doing works out because you're really good at what you do. And I was like, man, thank you, but...
Do you believe that I have a tracking number from this fucking other company? That's
like,
hilarious.
I know. The whole thing was insane. And like, I've been trying to call Cinegear and they won't message me back.
Dude.
The guy, when I initially did it, started texting me. He got my number and he was like, what's the problem? And I'm like, I don't want this thing. And then like now he's not replying to anybody.
I just got to tell you, if you came across my feed, he said nice delivery.
Yeah, no, he was like talking. I don't even know what he saw.
Oh, he wanted to be a comedian. Unfortunately, he's stuck on the line at B&H. That is fucking hilarious.
He was into it, and like, it honestly was, because it started getting me thinking, like, with my email is DeBonis Comedy, so people have to understand that I'm in comedy somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm on the phone with these people, like, every once in a while, like, have people always been checking out my stand-up, but
funniest,
just didn't like it?
Okay, no, Mark. The funniest part about this is, though, that he took the time, like, on the hold.
He made me wait
like,
longer.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was listening to... He was listening to you like the party while you're on the phone, dude.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm like, what is happening right now?
That is incredible, dude.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I've never...
That's a great story.
Yeah, it was a weird one, but...
I love it.
I don't know, man. Like things are getting weird out there.
It's got to be a good sign. I keep getting hit up about our podcast, you know, whether I'm
People
on a,
like it.
Yeah, whether I'm on a gig or like I'm just like talking to friends like in passing, like. And what's cool is like usually I'm famously known for bringing up my own shit, but they're bringing it up. It's really. It feels good. It feels good.
Well, I think that it does show you that like whatever it is we're doing, people are liking. You know? Like to a certain point, and it's just keeping it consistent.
Yeah, I've been going by this quote. It's kind of like just a way to live, I guess, more than I don't know the quote. It's going to sound better out of someone else's mouth than mine, but the gist of it is consistency is way more important than discipline. And some would argue that, you know, you may need a little discipline to stay consistent.
Yeah, that is a conundrum.
Right. But let's say out of the two, like you can kind of bank on the fact, even if it's doing something stupid over and over and over and over again, you will have an outcome there. You're either going to get really good at whatever that stupid thing is, or you're going to stop.
Yeah.
Right. So there is something to be said for consistency, and it's kind of a new part of my life that I'm trying to implement, is kind of just sticking by whatever I said I was going to do. Mm-hmm. It sounds so corny kind of to say out loud, but really the biggest letdown in life, we do it to ourselves all the time. It's simply just not doing the thing you told yourself you were going to do.
Yeah, because there's too many options now, right?
Man.
Like you get too distracted by like, oh, I'm going to start this. Oh, now I can do this and I can do that. And obviously like, even like what we're doing, it's a little bit all over the place where we're trying to streamline it, but it's being consistent with anything, which is the most important thing. And
man.
It's hard to do.
We've said it before too, when it comes down to like working on a dream or like a vision that you have, time just goes so much slower when you're in the act. And it takes the consistency, it takes that X factor to kind of, no matter what it is, we have to just keep doing it. Yeah. We have to move on to the next one. This episode, this last one, it could have felt weird. It could have gone slower than ones before, whatever. We're still putting it out. We're still trusting in it. We're still having the, whatever you want to call it, to put the ego aside and say, this is the work. Look at the work.
Yeah. You know? And it's like, you know what? We don't know who's watching it, what they're liking about it. Maybe it's just relaxing. Maybe it's like something in the background. Mm-hmm. And really what it comes down to is just knowing that it's out there, like every week at the same time, at the same day, or at least the same day, that they know it's going to be out there. And that's what it is.
I think that in and of itself is a good feeling too. I know it feels good to be held accountable for positive things. So
Make
cheers.
It happen.
Yeah. You know, like it's been a good time.
Here's a question. Here's a question. How fast is too fast to put your partner on the background of your phone? Because here's my thought process. Is putting your partner on the background of your phone the new version of moving in with them? Because if you think about it, people are moving in more out of survival reasons at this point, to save on rent. Like, they don't care. Like, if you move in with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, and you're like, look, I'm saving like $800 a month on rent because we're splitting rent, we're splitting cost. But if they're on the background of your phone, you have to, like, they're in your brain more than anything else.
Okay, well, let's say 6 to 10 years ago.
Oh, I think you say, okay.
This may have been less of a thing, right? But in a time where technology, specifically the phones, are so attached to our tethered to our being, the background of something that you look at, oh man, if we go with the duration of time I'm on my phone, and your phone does it, you could see literally to the second how long that you're on your phone for. It makes me sick sometimes. If your loved one is on that screen, you've reached the next point. There's
no reset.
There's no. Once you take that this is all I thought of when you said that. I can't even if I just still love this person, God forbid I took that picture off my background.
Yeah, now
it's
you're
sending a big message right now.
And you have set a bar of they are now your background. You cannot change it.
They have to be. That's why I think, fellas and ladies, I think we're playing it safe out there if we get a neutral background going.
Okay.
Now, I've had on my phone for a long time, and I've had new phones, and I purposely asked them when I get a new phone, hey, can we just merge that background over? And more time they can do that. That's a normal thing that they can do. My background happens to be me, a friend of mine, me and two of my friends. It's a trio. We're playing music, right? It's the most innocent. You could never, this is what I do. You look at it, it's a cool looking picture.
Yeah.
It makes sense to have it on my phone. It's me, it's music, right? Now, I don't know if you remember this or know about this. There are two types of home screens. You could have a lock screen.
Yes, they added the lock screen to just really mess it up.
Really just, you know what I mean? But it might be a bone they're throwing with that lock screen. Because now you have the option to make a loved one the lock screen. Instead of the the inside wallpaper, you can argue, look, babe, that's for me.
That's my oasis.
Look, baby, this is for me. you know, we could pillow talk our way through that home screen. But man, you're really into it. It's really turning into a thing. Lock screen it up. Lock screen your girl up.
But the thing is now, do you?
I don't even. Who the fuck knows, dude?
Because it's a thing. Because imagine. We are on our phones. It's part of us at this point.
Yeah.
And that means if they are your background, like you said, there's no escape. So if you live with them and you get into a fight with them and you guys go into your own room.
I want to go on my phone and your phone's on.
And then the first thing you see is their face. Is that going to piss you off even more? Or if it's the neutral background. But now on the flip side, in a even secure or insecure relationship, does it ever become a question to why am I not on your phone? Like, look at me. I got married. If my background was not something to do with the wedding, dude, it has to be floating in the universe.
Dude, how is there not R&B songs dedicated to this?
To the
Take me
background?
off your home screen. Like, there's got to be. This is hilarious.
I think it's more personal. I think being on someone's background is now more personal than living with them.
Yeah, I guarantee you, I pitched this to the right writer. Chris Brown this will be a B-side burner on any Chris Brown. Take me off your home screen. Dude.
That's the thing. And then the other question is like, what happens if it's a picture before you guys met? Like if you had a picture of them before you,
Whoa.
that's now weird.
Whoa.
Yeah, because they're like, what is this picture from? You know?
I never even thought of that, actually. This has happened to you.
No, this is...
That's never happened to you.
No. None of this has happened. This is... I was just thinking because the story is like, I know somebody...
Take me off your home screen. Woo!
I know somebody who met somebody, and I feel like within a month, they were on the background of their phone. And I'm like, this
That's
is
not
crazy.
gonna work. That's not gonna work.
This is too much.
Nope. You both need to have your own lives for a long time before we're like constantly looking at the
Yes.
face of the other person, you know?
Yeah. And well, that was just like something that I was thinking, and like, you know, the other thing that I'm kind of like in our day and age right now, I don't want to say fake news, trigger word, whatever, but like, I think I've become more, as I get older, I've become more like pro rumor than being against rumors, because rumors to me, like, you can't start a successful rumor about somebody if you don't know them. So if you think about it, you need to have high-level observational skills to start a successful rumor. If you started telling everybody that, oh man, I went out with Mark and, you know, he ate all these chicken wings and was like yelling at everybody and, you know, chugging beer, people might believe yelling at people or drinking beer, but now they're like, wait a second, Mark doesn't eat meat. So is your story true? So you need to know the person inside and out before you can successfully start a rumor about them.
Okay. Couple things here that I wrote down. Hilarious. Number one. Number two. This is going to sound like an obvious thing to come out of someone's mouth, but we used to have a thing in our high school. It was a little bit of me, my brother, mostly this group of friends my brother hung out with. And they did, my friends too, a couple of my buddies too, but they did this thing where they would start the most insane rumor about someone. And it was just told with such a straight face. And in high school, everyone is so gullible. They want this shit to be true. Like,
that, okay, so that's a key thing, is gullible.
Yeah, like there's a time, right, where this makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like they would be crazy. Like I don't even know if I feel like saying them really out loud on a microphone.
Yeah, just like insane, life-changing
insane,
rumors.
like something that you'd be like, I can't be near this person ever again.
Yeah.
And it would go through a series of people. It would get worse.
Like broken telephone.
Yeah,
to the
dude,
max.
it would get worse, like worse, to the point where then, you know, someone would come to the table and have to perform the rumor out loud in front of that, where whoever that rumor is about, right? So this is like part of the game, like, which is, it sounds so terrible to say it out loud now, but so there'd be like 4 people at the table, someone designated to spew out this chain of telephone bullshit, and then the person that the rumor's about. And then finally, that person that would act it out, I mean, it sounds so haggard, would be like, dude, we heard about what you did to your cousin, dude. Like, what's going on, man? Is she okay? Like, and inevitably, like, you would just hear, the more the person was upset about it, the more like everyone started believing it, the more it became real. It became like a hyped situation. Looking back on it now, it's terrible. It was really awful. It was awful. Some of this shit, high school, these kids are ruthless, dude.
You're really just working on raw instincts as you're not thinking.
If you've seen porn, you can make up an insane rumor, like immediately, you know? Around that time, it was like 2 Girls, 1 Cup was floating around, and like the Mr. Hands video, all that weird, the most worst online shit you could think of was thrown in the mix. You know, just the epitome of where an imagination at that age can go. But yeah, I think it has to deal with.
So as a younger person, rumors are more damaging.
Not without a doubt more damaging,
but as an adult, rumors become more like showcasing skill.
Yeah.
Would you argue that?
No, without a doubt. I was literally going to try to summarize the difference. And
Yeah.
you took the words out of my mouth. At our age now, you know, just from a couple hangs with someone, if a rumor is real or it comes from like a place of truth. And most rumors at our age are hopefully positive.
Well, this is the thing. Now you're getting me thinking about like a kid, like, you know, the idea of like a sleepover
Yeah.
turns into like crashing at someone's place. Like you don't say like if you like passed out on my couch, you're not gonna be like, oh, I slept over Mark's house. People are like, what? Like it's weird. You crashed on my couch. Like,
I had to sleep over at Mark's.
Yeah, you have to like make it sound cool as an adult.
You're so funny, dude.
So what is rumor? Do adults like? Now that I'm thinking about it, like what rumors would professionals have?
Adults talk shit.
So it goes from rumors to talking shit.
Yeah. Because if you're going to say something about someone nowadays,
That's a good
it's
point.
going to be positive, right? If you're going to talk, a rumor, I think is kind of
what even is a rumor? Like, is it
a rumor is this. Did you hear that this person has a sixth toe?
okay?
And then,
So how would that now be shit talking?
so now in high school, that is rumor. That's big news. Now in the locker room, everyone's trying to catch a glimpse of this warlock. You know what I mean? Like at this age, it's kind of like, hey, did you hear Mark's getting a divorce?
And that would be a rumor.
That's a rumor because we don't know really the details, but just the overlying subject of that is negative. It's not coming from Mark. It's not
Okay.
coming from Mark's wife.
So the sixth toe wouldn't be an adult rumor.
No, Mark, would you care if I had a sixth toe?
no,
No.
but like,
But if you were 16, you'd be like, fuck, Missana's got 6 toes.
I guess it is like, yeah, like rumors eventually, because I can see in a professional environment that they're still around because it's competitive. And
Yeah,
I guess in high school, there is a competitive thing where if we were, and this would be obviously a shitty person, but like if we were competing for the same job, would it be like, it would be weird of me to start a rumor about you in the office.
Yeah, here's the thing with adult rumors too. It also weeds out. It's like a survival skill, right? Who can I bring? Where Marjorie, you heard Marjorie's a drinker? Probably shouldn't bring her to the family event this year. You heard that's a rumor where you still are with Marjorie every day. You got to
Really
deal with
weird. Yeah,
Marjorie.
it's such a childhood thing.
You know, but you
rumors.
still know someone out there knows Marjorie drinks a little too hard, so you don't want to do certain things with Marjorie. That's a rumor. It's true, but it's also talked about amongst the community, you know? Whether or not you
interesting.
choose to believe it, right, is like based on Marjorie's acts.
Well, okay, so I can tell you this. I live in Buffalo now. We're
Oh.
we're aware of that. When I go back to Toronto, people have asked me if I married a girl at a pizza place. They asked me if I married an American. They have questioned my sanity. Would these be rumors? Like, because honestly, now it's kind of cleared, but when I first started going back to Toronto, people would be like, Mark, I heard you moved to Buffalo and married a girl who works in a pizzeria. And I was like, what?
dream.
Like, who is starting? Like, who told you that?
Angela. Of course we met Angela in Buffalo, and now she does the numbers. I'm more of a hands-on kind of
So
guy.
would that be a rumor, or is that someone being like, oh, look at this bum who moves, like...
It's not true, so it's a rumor, and it's like one of those things that is easily inferred by someone who hasn't seen you in a long time, only knows you through social media and like, you know, seeing you that type of way. I get the same vibes. Like, dude, I had to come home and explain to people why I'm playing at a bar on Thursday nights. You know, I haven't done that in a long time, you know? And I also
Made
made
a Buffalo reset.
I made a pact with myself, you know, when I move back, there's no way you're going to catch me playing these local gigs. I don't want to explain to anyone why I'm home. I don't want to do that
Yeah.
whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, fuck it. You know?
No, and now...
When we get older, the only rumors that matter are the ones that like are detriment to how you're getting paid or your health.
Or I guess a rumor about who's getting a job. Would that be a rumor?
Yeah,
Like,
because
they become more positive. We're like, oh, I heard so-and-so might get the job.
that's a good thing.
Is that a rumor, though?
That rumor only happens if you have a past of shit. That's the only time getting a new job, unless it's like a crazy new job where it's like your life, I don't know, your life is changing monetarily, or you're on television, or you got a movie, or you know what I mean, something like that.
Rumor has it.
Yeah, rumor has it you're in the next Aquaman, Mark.
Now, if you die, does the rumor now become a tale?
No, it becomes a legend.
So it becomes a legend. So rumors turn to legends.
And legends never die. We know this from Babe Ruth, Sandlot.
Wow.
This is a classic thing.
Put
Heroes get remembered.
a bow on that one.
Heroes get remembered.
And you got to hope that you have good rumors, because rumors probably are what tell your story.
That's it.
You know, and that's maybe why rumors are kind of, in a way, dying, because we're so open now with social media and everything. There can't be room for imagination.
No.
You know too much about people right now.
It's so funny. Like, even if you heard a lie, actually, this happens all the time where you hear something about someone. This happened with us. And then you're like, someone's like, no, I don't think it's that. I think this is what happened. You're like, what? I believed a lie.
Yeah.
Then this person knows more about than this, because they dug deeper on this weird thing that was a lie at first. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's like, people are really about exposing and about like filming and all that stuff. It's just, we're too open.
This happened in New York quite a bit when I lived in New York. I hate to admit it, but you would just be walking, and sometimes someone would be walking past you just in complete tears. And you're like, there's no way. Like, of course, I'm not going to stop and be like, hey, can I change your day? Like, maybe I can. Who the fuck knows?
But if this was a rom-com, you would.
But I would. If I was Paul Rudd out here.
And that's what a movie is, because you don't know why this person's crying. And at the end of the day, in their mind, it could be none of your business, and it could make it worse.
Exactly. It's funny that you said that, man, because that's happened before. I've literally been in passing where I'm like, do I deal with this emotion? And what sucks is that if you're a good person, truthfully, I've felt that then throughout my day. Fuck, like, there's not anything I really could have done, but like, it just puts a vibe on my situation, you know? And I think, not to get sappy on us, but I think we're missing a little bit of that. And you mentioned it before, like, it's just, we're quick to detach from like real emotion, from real human shit, you know?
For sure. Like, I've told you this, like, when you say to me, I appreciate you, or whatever you say, I'm like, I don't even know how to respond to that. I just literally, I'm like, gray.
Aww.
Like, I'm like like zero.
That makes me just want to give you a big hug and a smooch, and that makes you even more uncomfortable.
But that's it, and that's exactly it. Where I'm like, you know, and this is a funny thing about the whole relationship situation, where people are like, oh, like, there's like love language, you know, and like, first of all, the first thing I'm going to say about that is like, what about, like, to me, the most important thing is like language. Forget about like communicating.
Yes.
Not like, oh, what are our signs?
You have to touch me this way when you get home, because that's how I react to love.
But the thing is, it's like, I am notoriously known for being very detached, and not like, I don't even know if detached is the right word. It's just unemotional.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, I can.
Yeah, we couldn't date for sure.
No,
Yeah.
it's a problem, and I know it's a problem, but it's very hard for me to see. Like, look, if you fall in front of me, I'm gonna help you up. But if you walk in here limping, I might not ask you what happened. Because does that make sense?
But if you fall metaphorically,
and that's the problem. Like, if you fall metaphorically, and I truly, because I do feel for people a lot. I like really wish I could give everything and help everybody, and I wish I could on Christmas work at like a soup kitchen, but I can't do that for my own problems.
you totally could.
I know I could, but I can't. because then I'm like, oh, what is happening here?
Who's in the soup? Whose fingers were in the
Well,
soup?
that's where my own what is it called? Neurotic tendencies get into thing, because I'm like, I can't be in this room, and that's a whole other story. But if you're just sitting there sad, I can't be like, hey man, are you okay? Like, that's not in me. And unfortunately, anytime I've tried to act on that, it's blown up in my face.
Wow.
Where it's like,
What is that called again? Is it empathy? I think it's more than empathy.
well, okay, so I have
I mean,
realized
sympathetic, I guess. Yeah.
because I think for sure I do have empathy. Is it no? I am.
We need to look up the definition for
I
empathy.
am.
Is bad.
I work off my environment, and I really, as a comedian, I really do take the energy of the crowd.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's empathy. Is that empathy?
I really feel like that's like social awareness. Like,
There's a word for when you like.
I know there is. I
When
think
you-
it's empath. Like when you're an empath, you
Empath.
take the feelings on. So I
Yes.
think it's empathy. That's
Yeah.
what I think it is.
And I'm aware of it, but if I was like a cat, I would be in the corner watching. You know, I'd be like, Dom's sad. I just gotta let it go. Hopefully it passes.
Maybe, you know what? I think some sad people don't understand too. Like, you can be there for someone without. This is like a flaw of mine too. Like where I over ask, like, is everything okay? Are you okay? Is everything okay? What's going on? And that's totally fucked me in relationships before.
For sure, because it's like too much.
Yeah, this is such an unfortunate part of reality, but it's like the person who least cares wins. Oh, I hate that that's real, but it's like that's a vibe of
I
life.
know.
I've seen it in my own working relationships with people. I've cared too much in a room full of aggressively nonchalant human beings, specifically rappers, and I just get laughed out of a room, you know, or talked about. You know, you could feel when people are talking about you. So it's like those things are like. I feel like it's hard to sell empathy these days, and I don't want that to be real.
It's just, we're coming to a time now where the bar of everything is lowered. And when you're too aware or micro, like really like wanting to be precise and make sure that something's the best that it can be, you really have to have a high awareness of like, this is not good, or at least the ability to detach, to listen to a beat that you made or a joke or whatever, and be like, okay, I like it, but it's not there yet. Where I feel like we've accepted as a society, it's done, it's out there. It's that is the consistency model, where it's not about being good, it's about being done.
Dude, I love that you said that.
I don't know if that made sense, but
It makes sense to me. Coming back here to Buffalo, we talked about this a lot, especially with like getting work or the people that are gatekeeping these gigs or however you want to call it. It's like, just by being myself, I know I've rubbed people the wrong way. And it's
sure.
not at all coming from a negative place or a place where of ill will or anything. It's literally, I'm just so excited about certain stuff. I get emotionally excited. I put all of who I am into things that I work on, so much so that I bring other people that I love who are good at what they do into the mix. So maybe we can make this all really good. And I think in small towns like Buffalo, and also just in places in general, people get comfortable. And as soon as you come in and disrupt that comfortable, even if it's like you're gonna make them comfortable in a better way, you just got to stand up so I could change your couch, dude. Let me get you a bigger couch in here. That moment of being uncomfortable is like felt in grandiose ways out here, and it gets in the way of like anything we can grow, anywhere someone can grow. And truthfully, I'm fucking sick of that. I'm so over that, man.
It is such a thing, because I've always felt that like comfort is the kiss of death, you know, and I think this stuff, and then I like hear like most of the time like an old like a hip hop song or something, and then they talk about these things, and I'm like, am I taking that from there? But I'm like, I don't remember hearing this song before, but there has to be something to that, where, you know, the idea is if you're comfortable, someone who's not comfortable is going to take your your spot. Like,
Yeah,
that's
man.
it. And
Yeah.
when the whole place is comfortable, they don't want that shockwave. You know, they don't want it to be disrupted because there is no.
You're absolutely right. And it really comes out, you see it in people's insecurities, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not insecure and you're confident in who you are, you would be very happy to work with someone who's like-minded and perhaps better than you at what you do.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that can happen from that is you're getting real good.
And that is 100% to do with confidence, where like I look at the people, again, we're talking about with K-Trev, like who I started out with as a comedian, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but that group of comedians that I was performing with on a nightly basis, multiple shows, or watching while I was in the back of the room, they are the straight up killer comedians, where if we were not in Toronto on the other side of the border, or if there was some sort of, you know, it's now coming to light. Like, you're seeing all the people that are coming out of Toronto are from the same crop of comics.
That's so awesome.
You know, and it's like, being with people, it's not about you did better than me and I'm going to be like sitting in the back of the room mad at you. If you had a good joke, I'm going to come back with 3.
If
I
you're-
don't care if they're good or not, but you're now motivating me
That's what I'm saying.
to write 3 jokes because your joke got an applause.
I say this all the time. Not only do I tell Mark that I appreciate him a lot, because I do appreciate him, but man, if you're winning, I'm winning.
Yeah.
If we're in the same circle trying to do the same shit, I can't tell you how many gigs I've gotten from just being a nicer person than everybody.
At the end of the day,
It sounds so ridiculous, or just being able to cultivate a relationship with someone who's in my field. They want to sit next to me on a plane for 11 hours.
that's all it is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are 1,000 bass players, piano players, whatever, better than me. There are 1,000 comedians funnier than you. What makes people want to stand next to you for more than 15 minutes, you know?
And really, that's exactly what it is, you know. And again, like, I just happened to meet a lot of people, and for whatever reason, at a young age, I was all over the place, but for some reason aware of certain things, and I really took some stuff to heart. And I remember my one friend who's doing very well right now, Jeff Leeson, he took me, the short version of it is he saw me do 7 minutes at a show that he was running. And I was like, we'll do a little extended version. I was at an open mic in Toronto and I overheard 2 comics talking. One guy goes to the other guy, I need a ride to London, Ontario. And he's like, man, my car, I just got into an accident. I don't have a car. I've never done this, and probably since that day or before that point, I go to him like, I can give you a ride.
Ooh.
And he's like, who are you? Are you even a comedian? Like, what is happening right now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like a new comic and I have a car. I can give you a ride for sure. He's like, are you on tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on. And this show was a classic show, but it could either go good or bad, right? Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, everything was in line tonight and I did very well. I get off stage and he's like, I'm going to message the guy. Day or 2 goes by. He's like, okay, show's on Sunday. We'll meet up there, whatever. We go up and I do 7 minutes on this show. Again, do well. He does his thing. I'm like outside just hanging out. And the guy who runs the show, Jeff, he's like, man, that was really funny. And I was like, thanks. And he's like, I book a college tour. I'm actually looking for a middle act. Can you do 30 minutes? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. But I literally could not do more than like 7 minutes.
Yeah, you fake it till you make it, baby.
Not thinking that this guy was going to get back to me or nothing. I'm like, cool. Yeah, man, I can do 30, no problem. He's like, all right, man, like, I'm going to get back to you. I'm like, awesome. We go back. Within a week, Jeff messages me. We're doing St. Catharines. We got 30 minutes. I'm picking you up, this and that. And then the shows just kept this show.
That's awesome.
I died every show. Like so bad. Like, honestly, it got to the point where I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was getting paid for comedy.
He was tossing you a bone, man.
So at the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm getting paid. But then it got to the point where I didn't care about it anymore. I was only making like 100 a show. It was nothing life-changing. Mm-hmm. But I was like, man, like it's starting to piss me off because I was doing so bad on these shows. And I go to Jeff one day, we're in the car, and I'm like, look, man, like, are you fucked? And he's like, I'm like, do you have like mental problems or something? And he's like, what? Like, he's like, are you attacking me right now? And I'm like, no, like, I have never done well on these shows.
Why do you keep having me
Why
back?
do you keep booking me? Like, is this like getting you off? Like, I don't understand what it is. And he starts like dying because it was bothering me. I was doing so bad. Like, I don't even think I was coming close to 30 minutes. And it to a point where it's like, I thought he was like making fun of me now. Like, it flipped on me.
Wow.
And he starts like laughing.
You got in deep in your head.
Oh,
I've
man,
totally
I'm
done that.
telling you, it has never.
I've
never
totally done that.
It never went well. And he starts laughing, and he's like, "Mark, like you're crazy." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm serious, man. Like you've week after week, like we're doing these shows, and I'm dying. Like, what is it?" And he's like, "Look, you've never lost me a gig, and you're fun to be with on the road." He's like, "That's all I care about." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "You've never done so bad that I couldn't." He's like, these are my shows. I know the audience. I know how to perform to these people. And you're fun to watch. And he's like, I'm not laughing at you. Like, he's like, you're a character. But at the end of the day, driving 10 hours, 12 hours, being on the road for 4 days in a row, you're really fun to be with. And that was, honest to God, within the first 2 years of me doing stand-up. And it really made me realize that I am really good at hanging out. And I didn't know that quality.
That is a fucking skill, man.
It came strong.
You're looking
in
at
comedy.
one of the best. I love that. I love that. People have no idea nothing is real. Nothing is real.
No.
Does anyone understand that? No one fucking gets that. It's not real. You just literally have to be likable. Just like, and if you don't like yourself, that's the first part. Work on liking yourself. Other people will start liking you.
You have to be, honestly, if you don't like yourself, in my opinion, for you to be liked, you have to be like gorgeous.
Yes,
man
exactly.
or woman,
unquestionably,
you have to be like,
perfect
I hate
looking.
myself, but I hook up with people all the time, and I hate myself,
exactly.
and people just want to be around you because you have like an essence about you.
Yeah.
That is the only person who can get away with hating themselves and sucks to be around.
Yeah, and usually those people just have blow.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
they're
That's what that is. that's what that fucking life is, man.
I don't know. I think we did it.
Yeah, today, honestly,
We went on some tangents.
this felt good. It felt really good. I really, really enjoyed Risa. I really, really enjoyed talking today. You know,
Are we gonna sell mom sauce do-rags?
we can't. First of all, we can't afford them.
That's true.
Let's be fucking real. All right. And if we could, yeah, maybe.
Maybe we'll get a couple. We'll get
Maybe.
limited
A
edition
couple,
ones. Yeah.
one or two for me and you. Clearly, I don't need a fucking durag when I go to bed.
Not to bring back the do-rag thing, but I am 99% convinced, and I have to confirm this. I feel like my grandfather wore a do-rag.
Your grandfather did not wear a durag.
I'm telling you.
No, he wore a stocking cap, fam.
He had very wavy hair, and I remember I would go there in the morning, and he would have something.
Bro, you have any documentation of your grandfather? Are your grandparents from Toronto too?
They're in Toronto. My grandfather died, but my grandmother,
Okay.
they came.
Rest in
They're not
peace.
from Toronto. Like, they're from Italy.
Okay.
But they live. My grandmother. Maybe we could actually hook up a phone to this thing.
Okay.
If we do a recording in the day,
Dude,
we gotta call her.
if she's got a pic of Grandpapa in this do-rag stocking cap, please, dude.
I gotta confirm this because I do
Please.
have memories because I remember had full on like waves, and he would, when he slept, his hair was always like,
Wave check?
it was
You were
down.
wave checking Papa? Come
I'm
on.
telling you, I gotta confirm this.
I love this, dude. I love it.
It would have been one of those things where it would have been made way more sense if like I just grew up wearing do-rags as I slept, you know?
Oh, God. Yeah. And no one in your high school ever found out about it.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
You don't want people to know.
You
but-
could have done that in the 2000s and you would have been okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not
But
anymore.
no, man, we had a good time today.
Good days today.
Episode 6
6.
in the bank, in the pot.
Risa Paonessa of Risa's Restaurant, 285 Delaware in Buffalo, New York, and you are watching Mom's Sauce Podcast.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.